Okay, so I'm glad to see you today, and I just wanted to touch base with you on how your clients are doing. And I think you had told me last time that you were starting a new client, so
yeah, just started him.
Okay.
He's 5 years old.
Okay.
He is nonverbal.
Okay.
He has a few words, and he can imitate sounds.
Oh, okay.
Fairly well, but he's not very clear at all.
Okay.
His parents understand him pretty well. I have a hard time going in, not knowing him all that well.
Right.
Understanding him when he talks.
You said that he has a couple of words. Are those words that he's using spontaneously or functionally?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, though, you kind of have to tempt him or even kind of give him an echoic prompt.
Okay, so he will mand, but he needs support.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. What are some of the other things going on with him, or?
Well, language is a big
Okay.
focus for us. Getting him to use manding more functionally,
Right.
more independently.
Okay.
I've talked to Dad about PECs. He said that they've tried it in the past. They just started with us, but he did have ABA for about 6 months.
Okay.
When he was 4, so last year.
Okay.
And he didn't seem to respond to it that well. So
Okay.
I'm not sure. And his school situation isn't where you could get, an iPad or anything like an assistive communication device.
Okay.
Yet.
Okay.
He's in preschool right now.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
We'll see.
So he hasn't really tried using an augmentative device or anything like that, and
not really.
You've talked to Dad about PECs, but have they used PECs in the past?
They said they did.
Okay.
They said that the child did not respond
Okay.
well to it. So.
Okay.
It's something that I'm still definitely thinking about, but
yeah.
I'm not sure yet.
It's kind of hard too, being that we don't know if it was a matter of PECs not being maybe an appropriate fit for him, or maybe the way it was implemented was maybe not.
Yeah. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What else would you say are his kind of main priority areas or skill repertoires?
Definitely, we need to decrease his behaviors.
Okay.
He doesn't really have any aggression or self-injurious, but just his behaviors impact the way he kind of functions. Like going into kindergarten would be really hard for him because he can't really sit still long enough right now.
So a lot of maybe issues with attention and what detracts from his attention?
He's got a lot of body stereotypy. He kind of paces, and he plays with objects, kind of like some visual stereotypy as well.
Okay.
So that kind of he gets distracted.
Have you guys, and you've done an FBA on those behaviors, and what have you determined the function to be?
The stereotypy does seem to be automatic for sure.
Okay.
He does engage in some non-compliance.
Okay.
And it does seem like it's escape.
Okay.
But he definitely does some attention as well.
Okay.
He's kind of a stinker.
Okay. So if we're looking at, again, trying to kind of fit everything together, making sure that the behavior acquisition targets and the skill targets are in line with sort of your goals behaviorally for him. He's engaging in a lot of automatically reinforced stereotypic behaviors and a lot of maybe escape and potentially attention-seeking behaviors as well. So in terms of some of the replacement behaviors, what are some things or skill repertoires that you can boost to try to, maybe work on those areas? Yeah. What are you thinking?
Definitely play.
Okay.
He's a pretty good imitator, but he does not engage in play by himself spontaneously.
Got it.
Toy play is very limited. He will engage in some interactive, like chase, and with prompting, he will say, "Get me." He loves to be chased and tickled. So there is, good potential there, but it's really limited right now.
So you're thinking that kind of by boosting his play repertoire and his independent skills, that you're then going to be able to replace some of those automatically reinforced behaviors.
Yeah.
Just because he would, again, have other behaviors or other repertoires that he can do to stimulate himself, to entertain himself, instead of needing to engage in the stereotypic behaviors. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Again, some of the other things that you can look into would be You know, you've already talked about communication as being a really important skill for him.
Definitely.
Making sure that you're not only teaching some of the play repertoire behaviors, but also some manding behaviors where he can appropriately access maybe some of the sensory reinforcement that he's seeking. So
yes.
So
Definitely.
you were saying he engages in a lot of kind of like body stereotypy.
It looks like climbing on furniture.
Oh, okay.
Walking around like the living room area, that kind of like pacing kind of.
So it's really more gross motor types of activities.
Yes, definitely.
So are you guys thinking about teaching him some of those more gross motor or locomotor activities within his play?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And teaching him maybe where it's appropriate to climb.
Right.
Where it's appropriate to run around and play chase as opposed to, you know, doing it on inappropriate things.
I believe there's a park near his house that we can kind of, you know, get him to man for and, you know, go there.
Good. And then the other things, like to address kind of the attention-seeking behaviors and also the escape-maintain behaviors, what are you thinking about for those particular?
For attention, you know, a gaining attention lesson would I think be really helpful for him. So he can, you know, tap. He can say mommy and daddy pretty clearly. So getting him to, you know, get their attention appropriately. Good. For the escape, asking for a break. So using that communication to kind of appropriately escape.
Right. And then, you know, also working in things like demand fading and helping him maybe perform tasks with prompting support so that it's not as difficult or taxing, so that there's less of a need for him to escape, and kind of ramping up the expectations slowly might be, some things to consider for him. Good. Well, I mean, I think, again, it sounds like you have an overall grasp of his current skills and some general directions in terms of where you need to focus some of your programming and, you know, how to support him in increasing his skill repertoire so that you can then effectively replace some of the more challenging or inappropriate behaviors.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
Sounds like you have a good plan. Good.